Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of PBRTV's live sessions where we talk to industry leaders, to RYA instructors, and we give you the best content on the marine marketplace to keep boating alive. So if you've been downloading our digital free subscription of PBR, you would have seen integrated features into all the new articles that are posted online. And to complement that, we've been doing this series of PBR TV live sessions. Each week, we've been talking to Paul Glatzel, talking about different training to help new boaters get onto the water safely. And in between that, we've been talking to industry leaders about the marine marketplace and their position in the field. So we've been talking to Jan Erik of Axopar, we've been talking to Simrad, and now we've got MDL as well as we've just had Gemini. So today we're going to, as I've just said, we're going to be talking to MDL Marinas, to Tim Mayer, the sales and marketing director. So I'm going to bring Tim in and we will start with today's show. So, Tim, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's 7 p.m. in the evening, so thank you for taking up your evening and joining us this evening.
No problem at all. Thanks so much for the invite.
Oh, well, great. So this evening, we're just going to delve a little bit deeper into MDL. There are going to be a number of people watching that are new to boating that may not have heard of MDL, and then there are obviously going to be established boat owners that are going to know that your brand is synonymous with marina operators across the country and further afield. So to start off with, what's kind of your role within the company and how long have you been with MDL, etc.?
So if I'm honest, I'm fairly new to MDL. I started in September 2019 and I'm the sales and marketing director. So I guess my role is all around just how we attract new people to MDL, and I guess slightly wider than that is actually how do we get more people into boating, full stop.
Great. So to set the scene, to start the ball rolling, we've got a couple of questions for you, which are hopefully going to show people a little bit of background and also your positioning in various aspects, which we can cover off. But to start off with, people that haven't heard about MDL, can you give us a little bit of background of MDL Marinas?
Yeah, sure. So, well, believe it or believe it not, MDL, we first opened our doors 47 years ago now, so 1973. And we did this when we purchased Penton Hook Marinas. Now, Penton Hook is truly fantastic. It's one of it's Britain's largest inland marina. It's got 575 berth. It's set in Achiators, and it's only a mile downstream from Runnymede, which is where King John signed the Magna Carta. And we've now grown to 19 marinas across the UK. That includes 13 boatyards, and we've also got 2 real first-class marinas in the Mediterranean, which includes San Carlos, which is in Catalonia.
I'm just showing here a picture of Hythe, I think back in the 80s. And the next slide that I'm going to show really sort of shows how things have come on. So we've obviously got there Hythe, but I'm going to show in a second when I bring in the next screen one of your premium marinas. Obviously, all of them are superb, but this is represents one of your latest developments, doesn't it? On revamp with Ocean Village. So
absolutely,
it's really come on leaps and bounds over the years, hasn't it? To now,
well, Ocean Village is definitely, it's the only 5-star marina in the UK. It's just truly premier. It is fantastic retail offering, fantastic bars. The team are great there. Scott, who manages it, it's just got everything. Yeah, really great marina.
And obviously a £50 million development of a stunning hotel as well, and bars and restaurants around it as well.
So I think one of the best news for me was when I started in September, we were just relocating the office from one of the other marinas into Ocean Village. So it's very nice now to every morning sit at the desk and look out over Ocean Village.
Yeah, fantastic. So MDL operate in what is a very competitive market. So what challenge does this present, and how does a company like MDL set about creating a distinct identity in this space?
So, well, you've said it. This is a really competitive market, and I guess it is probably fair to say that all operators are facing a similar sort of challenge, which is that of an aging customer base. I think it's no secret that On top of that, consumer habits are certainly changing now, and there over the past few years have been extended pressure on living costs. And I guess all of these aspects have dramatically altered what the leisure marine market looks like over the past 20 years. I guess we are retaining most of our customers because we have the prime cruising locations in the UK. We've got 9 marinas across the Solent. There's 3 on the Thames. We've got 2 on the East Coast, 3 in the West Country. But I guess fundamentally, the main reason we've got what we've got is because our marina teams are, the most highly regarded marina teams that we have within the industry.
Would you say also that your facilities, as well as your best locations, but your ability to be able to offer lots of different facets rather than just a pontoon space?
It's definitely more than a pontoon space, and I think what our berth holders do enjoy is premium service, and that's from the moment they enter an MDL Marina. But that's not only it, really. There is definitely, I suppose, a community of spirit, and it's a community where people have got shared interests with the MDL teams, and that fosters berth holders coming back year after year. But we've also seen developments like the WESUP offering we've got in Torquay, which is sort of water sports, paddleboarding. And these type of offerings, we are seeing they're bringing in a new type of customer to the marina. And obviously, we hope that once that customer sees what the marina has to offer, that they end up then following a boat ownership type path.
Yeah. So I would say, I'd ask you from that, where you're talking about sort of your customer base slightly changing, that from your standpoint, how have customers' needs and their expectations changed?
So I think customers' needs and expectations have definitely changed over the last 5 years, I guess. And I think digital platforms have had an awful lot to do with that. So customers now are much more switched on. People want to have a 24-hour, 365-day service. They want response times to be quicker. People, when they want to find something, want to be able to find it quickly. But I guess MDL's biggest challenge is that as the largest marina operator in the UK, MDL is responsible for setting a lot of the industry standards for issues which matter to UK boat owners, so things like the environment. In 2017, MDL, we committed that all the electricity purchase would be from green energy, from 100% renewable sources. And I guess it's these fundamental principles which matter more and more to owners, especially the generations of people that are now coming into the marketplace. And these are the guys that obviously myself and MDL are keen to help.
Yeah, I did some work with MDL a couple of years ago when I was racing powerboats. And at the time, you guys were working on various different green energy initiatives and things like that, and conservation. I think one of the things also were like oyster banks or mussel beds or something underneath the pontoons. And you're very in tune with the environment locally, aren't you?
Absolutely, and that's why we've tried sea bins, and there's a whole heap of local initiatives that we've put out over the years, and will continue to do so.
Great. So, do you see as the largest marina operator in the country? Do you see different, what trends in boating and boat ownership have you guys seen taking place here in the UK? Any differences?
So, certainly in recent times, there seems to be a rise of boat clubs, charter type models, which to me would show there's a real shift towards an experience type model than necessarily an ownership type model. Now, if I'm honest, I think I would see that, and MDL see that as an opportunity to support people moving into ownership. Shared ownership, so that's a really interesting opportunity, and we're going to continue to work with businesses that bring benefits for potential owners who are time poor. We're certainly seeing now that a lot of people who are time poor are quite enjoying the fact they can spend time on the water through their share of the boat ownership, rather than spending their weekends worrying about the fact they can't actually get to their boat. But I guess also we recently launched, I don't know if people saw it or not, but certainly in the last few weeks we launched a new package, and this was aimed to grow numbers of owners. And it was aimed at a small boat market. And we tried to offer a no-frills, highly competitive rate for small boats. It was called Simply Berthing. And Simply Berthing has been designed to encourage new boaters to experience the delight of being in one of MDL's marinas, but not trying to put them through the trial and tribulations that can come with a swing berth, which is where many people tend to start. So really, so why bother with a swing berth when you can have superb facilities at a really affordable rate? But unfortunately, people have got to be really quick, because we've already sold out of these berths in places like Torquay, Brixham, Chatham, and we are selling out quick across the rest of the estate. So if people are interested in simply berthing, they just need to pop over to mdlmarinas.co.uk/simply.
Yeah. So, and obviously the link is there for everybody if they want to jot down the domain there for them to be able to investigate further. I'll leave that on the screen for a little bit longer. Would you say that the dry stack facility has really helped people with the sort of almost like concierge service style of boating, where you can just, you know, organise the boat to be launched for you and the hassle be removed?
The dry stack it's truly fantastic. You know, it's one of those things where we have a lot of people that move to the dry stack after they've realised the hassle of having a boat on a trailer and a drive. Just because actually, if you want to get out on the boat, having it on a trailer on a drive does not help drive that fluidity of being able to get on the water. Whereas if you've got the dry stack, you know, you can get in touch with a marina, an hour later your boat's on the water and out you go. It's just wham bam, fantastic. And certainly our dry stack customers, we absolutely appreciate that service, and it's a service that we are continue to do and will continue to push. It's absolutely brilliant.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so I mean, as a company, would you identify any key growth areas in the market? I mean, one area I want to focus sort of the question on really is there notable differences between operating marinas in the UK and your international marinas, etc.? You know, are there different, you know, growth between those?
I think the only thing I can be absolutely sure of, I think we're not just MDL, but marina industry in its entirety, we have got to harness technology, and it's a technology that will make a difference to all marina operators. Fundamentally, there isn't much difference between the operations in Europe and the UK, bar the weather and sometimes the type of boats that you're getting. But I guess looking at the customer experience and what customers expect, it should be as easy to book services or to purchase berthing or other products at any marina as it is to book a train ticket or a hotel room. I guess technology and personalisation have got to be the major driver of growth, rather than it being a risk that has to be managed. I think people, as I said earlier, you know, they want on-time and valid communications. They only want to be contacted about the things that they're interested in or need to know. And so I suppose the key piece for me is how you become truly customer-centric. And the only way you can be truly customer-centric is to understand what your customer is doing and how they're behaving, which takes a lot more, I guess, than just changing your brand name, which is why we're doing an awful lot of work behind the scenes to try and improve our systems and our communication platforms.
Yeah. And for people that maybe want to boat abroad, I'll pop some photos up here. Can you tell us a little bit about this development quickly before we move into the next question?
Yeah, of course. So that's San Carlos Marina. It's a marina we've got in Catalonia. It's obviously we through COVID we've had it locked down for a while, but it is now opening up again. All our Freedom berth holders have access into St. Carlos, but we've also got the fact that you've got the Passport or Scales model as well, so people can go boating from the UK in Europe as much as they want to, as long as their boat will allow.
It looks a stunning facility.
Oh, it's truly beautiful, yeah.
Yeah. Is that a relatively new site, or has that been part of your portfolio for a while now?
It's been a few years now. Certainly, you know, we have a lot of contact with them, and we try and get over as much as we can do.
Okay. So obviously, this has been a challenging time for all, especially for the marine sector. How has the COVID-19 epidemic affected how MDL delivers its services and takes care of its clients?
So I think there is no doubt that COVID-19 is proving and has proved to be a really tough trading environment. And I guess, like everywhere, it is definitely going to take time for a new normal to settle in. And I think it's fair to say across the estate, some marinas will undoubtedly have their services back to some sort of level of normal more quickly than others. I think we've certainly, from a marketing and communications perspective, we have tried to be as quick as we could be in relation to communicating any changes in government guidance to not only our berth holders but visitors and our tenants, which essentially means ever since it's probably since the 12th of July when things really started to change up until the 23rd when lockdown kicks in, we have sent over 6,000 emails every step of the way. The social media sites have had all the updates on, and we've got a live stream on the website for COVID updates as well. But I suppose that the best thing for us has been that our customers have been not only increasingly patient with one another, but also with the marina teams, and they've certainly been respecting the challenges that social distancing presents, especially when you're operating things like the dry stack and the boat yards. And I guess out of every crisis does come an opportunity. So we're currently looking at all of our operating procedures, and we'll make improvements as and when they're needed. And when the continuing change government policies tend to settle, we'll be in a great position to look what changed and how we can utilise any of the new knowledge that we now have.
Yeah, a question on COVID-19. We get obviously a lot of people calling in talking about their marine operations, the questions about boating under COVID, etc. So there's a growing number of readers talking about their marine operators that have continued to charge full rates, despite the fact, obviously, the owners haven't been able to get on board their boats and use their facilities because of the government restrictions. What's MDL been able to do about that, and how have you been able to look after your customers in that aspect?
That's a really good question. So it was, I have to say, I've probably had many a night in the last few weeks where I was talking to customers till the early hours of the morning to answer questions such as that. And I guess we wanted to wait until the easings of lockdown had happened, so we knew exactly how long the restrictions were going to be in place. And to celebrate the easings of lockdown restrictions, we were delighted to announce a back to boating bonus, which went to all of the loyal annual Freedom berth holders we've got and all our loyal annual dry stack customers. This was launched 20 minutes after the government announced the restrictions would be lifted on the 13th of May. There is no doubt it was a challenging period for everyone, and we had promised, so we wanted, as promised, to share with customers, I guess, just how much we did value their loyalty over that period. There was no doubt we have been incredibly proud of all of the marina teams, and just not how hard they worked during that period, but are also continuing to work in some really difficult circumstances. They've been looking after customer boats and marinas all the way through this. Now, our marinas weren't shut. The reality is that customers couldn't come to the marinas due to government guidelines, and we had teams still looking after our boats through this whole process. But we did recognise that customers had not been able to use some of their freedom berthing benefits, and that's not this time because of poor weather, but it was because governments had put restrictions in place. So we waited till restrictions had been lifted, and we then gave customers some options. And those options were they could have 40%, I think it was 40% cash back of their prorated fees for April, or they could opt to have 50% of April's fee put on their account, which they could use for lifting, storage, fuel, or any other MDL service. Or if they wanted to, they could donate money to a charity. And we had two charities. We had the lifeboat, so RNLI, and we also had the Ocean Youth Trust. So the choice was completely up to them. Now, the good news is, and we have thanked berth holders already for this, but we did raise nearly 6,000 quid for the RNLI and the Ocean Youth Trust, which is an amazing result. So, we were really chuffed to bits that our berth holders could do that. But that wasn't all we did. We also gave berth holders the ability to have 50% of May's pro-ratas fees put down against next year's renewal if they decide to sign up for an early renewal. So, we think we've probably had the most comprehensive back to boating system you could do through this pandemic, and we're just really grateful the customers stuck with us and have allowed us to do it for them.
And that's testament also to the quality of your facilities, the services that you offer, that give people that real confidence that they're putting that money back into charities and continuing then, to support you guys and use you guys as their facility operator. There's a question here from Alex, which kind of I think you've covered off a little bit on, but it says here, Tom, could you ask about any inclusive berthing packages which include berthing, lift in and lift out, and annual hard standing as a single offer? And he says that I reckon that post-lockdown people will be looking to get even better value for money. So obviously you have different packages available, but can you talk a little bit quickly about the different facilities?
Yeah, so I think we've probably got a package for everyone, no matter what your situation is. So we've so far talked about simply berthing. I think we've touched on the dry stack offering. We've talked about freedom berthing, but then we also have storage ashore storage ashore packages if someone wants to be ashore over long periods of time. Within our freedom berthing package, though, customers already get free storage ashore, and that isn't a limited period. And we also offer percentages off boatyard services to all our berth holders, and I think it's fair to say it's the biggest discount across the industry, so it's 30% across the board. I think it was Tom, wasn't it? I think his point is right. There is certainly going to be people looking out for value, and we have got a product which is coming out later this year, which is absolutely around that, and that is aimed at people getting the most value they can, no matter how they're using their boat.
So it's very flexible. There's a package for everybody, especially that the new boater. They can come to you and find the package that works best for them.
Absolutely.
Talking still about COVID-19, do you see that there are long-term effects on the manner in which you guys operate?
Oh, I think so. I think during the pandemic, what we did to as many boat shows moved online. There's certainly been a virtual marinas popping up now, either hosting new or pre-loved boats. It was great for us that we did manage to sponsor the Ancaster Used Boat Show. And I guess whether that trend continues in the long term is fairly speculative. We'll see what happens. There is no doubt that we have had to adapt and will continue to adapt to new ways of doing things. That certainly includes new ways that the marinas will operate it. But what I guess we're trying to do is update that guidance as and when we need to on the website. We're doing everything we can. I guess the first priority is just to make sure that all of our teams and our customers, our tenants and any other visitor is as safe as they can be by ensuring we operate following the government guidelines. And I think it's fair to say the operation teams that MDL have, from director down to the dockmasters, they've all been working incredibly hard, certainly since restrictions lifted for overnight stays on the 4th, to ensure that all the shower facilities and service were available as widely as possible from the 4th. Which meant we had to ensure all control measures were in place and compliance to cleaning requirements and social distancing guidelines and that type of stuff could be followed. Great.
Well, it's great to see how a relatively large business now, but you have kept that adaptability and that sort of energy behind the brand to be able to make sure that you're really current with the latest legislation, but also trying to do as much as you can for your customer base. That's brilliant. What MDL Marina or complex or site are you most proud of, and why?
I can't answer that in case some of them are watching.
Singling out.
So I'm going to opt. No, I think if I'm being completely honest, I love all of them. I think that they've all got their own USPs. I think I could say I love Wolverston because the River Orwell is truly stunning. And it does have some of the best holiday lodges you'll ever see around the country. I think we've already talked about Ocean Village. It's a 5-star marina which has got fantastic hospitality. It's got retail on the doorstep. I love Port Hamble. It's got a fantastic bar and restaurant. It's really accessible into Hamble Village. So if you've had enough beers in there, you can trot on up the road and carry on there. Mercury, it's got Riverside next door to it. Now, I lived on Riverside for 6 months when I took this job on. It was before I relocated my family. Penton is also truly fantastic. We mentioned that as well. It was our first one, but also on the Thames, Windsor is beautiful. Bray it's a gem. I lived in Plymouth for a couple of years, so I guess I definitely have an affiliation to QAB, and I love going there. So I guess if I'm being honest, I probably couldn't pick one, but what I would say is in every marina we've got, our teams are definitely our best asset. They are truly exceptional. It doesn't really matter where you berth, whether you're in Brixham, if you're in Chatham, whether you go from Torquay to Saxon Wharf, Shamrock Quay to Hive Marina Village, we definitely have the best people in this industry.
Well, we'll talk about one of those specific sites in a minute with Wolverston, but can you tell us a little bit about any future plans that MDL have in the offering? So I know you've just mentioned, a good deal coming up soon, but yeah, anything there?
So I think that there is definitely a lot we're doing there, and I have to say we have a projects department, a technical team who are working on an awful lot of projects, and I think there's definitely some things I can't tell you about, but what I would say is please keep an eye on our newsfeed because you're going to be excited. But the one thing I will talk about is that we are definitely concentrating on improving our customer experience, be that at the marina or digitally, and we're currently going through a whole lot of digital infrastructure changes. But I suppose the latest thing, the newest thing to come out is going to be our new reward scheme, our new loyalty package. It's a package called Otium. This is probably the most exciting loyalty scheme that has ever hit any market anywhere, and it is open to not only just MDL berth holders, but is also open to other boat owners who may be getting to an MDL Marina. And this Otium package, the loyalty scheme, it allows customers to generate benefits based on their individual boat usage. So this really is a truly customer-centric solution. We're looking forward to that going live in September 2020, but boat owners can register an interest in the product now. I think the web address is loyalty.mdlmarinas.co.uk, and we will then give you some more communication about just how exciting this project is.
But that sounds pretty cool. So people can follow the link there. I've put it up on the screen. So for the information and that registering, it's all within that link, yeah?
Perfect, yeah.
Okay, great. So in terms of the boat market in general, what sectors do you guys see as holding the most potential for future growth?
So another development that berth holders may or may not be familiar is our holiday parks. So I suppose if I start with Wolverston, we've now expanded to 15 lodges, and we have plans for another expansion later this year. All these lodges are available to rent, and if you're a berth holder, you do get 10% off. So if I were you, I would click on the link and go and book a lodge for this summer. It's a fantastic staycation. But if you don't want to travel into Ipswich, and we also have some amazing caravans at Riverside, and these have been upgraded just before lockdown, so you could be one of the first into the new static homes. And these have been really successful.
They look stunning. These they look like an expensive investment and something that gives a really high quality holiday for people that like the water, but also great locations.
So these are a real asset to us. And I mean, what they do is that they help again. We're trying to bring people that may not be into boating back into this industry. So, you know, both the holiday parks, these are where large families can join together. Some of them may be on boats, others may be in the caravans or in the lodges. There might be couples that go away for a quiet weekend. But I guess for people that start staying on a marina site, they do get to experience what it's like to belong to a community. Now, whether then they can go on to get a kayak, or if they do a paddle board and start with people like we at Torquay, whoever it may be, if they even go to, I don't know, they might want to learn to sail, and we are lucky because we've also got fantastic sailing schools across the marina. They can start to see why so many people end up choosing MDL as the place to berth their boat. And hopefully, over a period of time, that may convince them to then convert into ownership.
Great. Well, I'm going to touch on one thing that we haven't planned in talking about, so it's not purposely to trip you up, but I know that MDL have commercial property on site that businesses can rent from you. So if there is somebody that is a small operator or a large operator in the marine sector, they can rent commercial property from you as well, can't you?
Yeah, so we've got, I think it's approaching 550 tenants across the estate. And we have got, well, it's just a vast variety of different businesses, most of them relating into the marina industry, boating industry. So sail makers, obviously bars, restaurants, chandleries, training schools, charter, various lots of them. And we've also got stock if people are looking to start in business. It is a really great way to get straight in front of your target market. And I guess just if we went back to COVID for a second, the one thing we really tried to make sure we did during this whole process was just make sure that we could support those businesses as much as possible with as much marketing as we could do across the MDL networks, just to keep them going. It's been a truly just a magnificent thing to see that they're all now open for business, they're all doing business, and the customers are back in spending money and keeping these guys operating, because fundamentally it is the small business owner and the guys that have these units that are the backbone of this industry. So people just need to use the local tenants that are on site at their local marina, no matter which marina you're at, and this industry will just go from strength to strength.
Oh, that's awesome, and it's great to hear as a large operator like yourselves, that proactive excitement and dynamic energy that you guys put into making sure that you support your tenants and also your berth holders, and also create new packages that attract new boaters. As we've seen as a magazine, we've seen a real influx of people getting into boating for the first time. A lot of dealers and distributors are contacting the magazine saying they're seeing record sales with people that obviously aren't wanting to holiday abroad and they're wanting to get onto the water. So having an operator like yourself that can deal with a lot of the logistical sides of boat ownership is really going to be useful. So I'm going to pop your contact up on the screen. So if somebody's new to boating or they've got a berthing question or something, they can contact you.
Just whatever they want to ask, feel free. It's an open book. Just that's fine.
Oh, great. Well, Tim, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
We've had people watching from all over Europe. So it's been great to spend half an hour with you just going through a little bit about your business and what you're doing under the current climate as well, and looking to the future. And I certainly didn't really know about the luxury developments with the holiday parks. I knew about Mercury, etc., but this newer stage looks really exciting, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of people that get access to the water for the first time by being able to holiday within the UK and have a fantastic experience.
Truly hope so. Absolutely.
So thank you for everybody for watching this evening. Tim, again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, and have a good week all.
Thank you. And to everybody that's following, if you haven't already, we are offering our free digital subscription. So if you jump onto powerboatandrib.com, you can access our free digital edition of the magazine. Likewise, if you want the print edition, then you can jump into a WH Smith's or have the traditional subscription. But online, you can get the back catalogue as well as the future mags. And as I've said before, we embed videos and different dynamic content. So this interview with Tim and I will be placed on top of their content within the magazine, so you can share it and catch up on anything that we covered this evening. So thank you, everybody, and tune in on Wednesday, where Paul Glatzel and I will be doing our phase 2 of our heavy weather boating. Last 2 weeks ago, we covered off on wave theory and learning how sea and wind and tide affect weather conditions. This week, we're going to be going into that practical side of driving your boat safely through those conditions. So we look forward to covering that off. Tim, thanks very much.
Perfect. Thank you.
Everybody, have a lovely evening. Many thanks.
Bye-bye.